Hey guys, Chelsea here from Zenith Fitness Co. Today I'm going over the suspension trainer, how to use it, how to attach it, how to adjust your intensity in different exercises, as well as some different tips and tricks that I've learned along the way. In general, this is what your suspension trainer is gonna look like. I know mine looks like the TRX suspension trainer, but it's actually not. I bought it when I was living in Germany. It's a great knockoff because it functions exactly like the TRX brand that I've seen. Most of the time you're gonna have a clip here that allows you to attach your suspension trainer to a bar or to an anchor point up high on the ceiling or on the wall, and it allows you to clip it into all these different loops. For me, I have a door anchor here, which I'll show you how to use in a moment. And then we have two straps coming down. Most of them have some kind of clip or slide that allows you to adjust the length of the suspension trainer, and then some kind of handle and or loop. So now I'll go ahead and show you how to use the suspension trainer with the door anchor. The door anchor is gonna go on the opposite side of the door from where I wanna exercise. So if I wanna exercise in my hallway, the anchor is gonna go into the bedroom on that side. Once I have that, I'll go ahead, slide the TRX to the middle of the doorway, and then shut my door. So this is actually the side of the door where it is fully closed and the door doesn't open this way. I want to make sure that the TRX, when it's fully lengthened, so I would lengthen the straps all the way, when it's fully lengthened, the bottoms of the loops are hanging about 3 inches off the floor. From there, I have a good place to do my different exercises at the appropriate length. Now I'm going to show you the option to attach your suspension trainer to a bar or anchor point, given that you have enough length for your straps to be about 3 inches off the floor when it's hung and fully lengthened. If you have that amount of length available, if you wrap it around a couple times, it's just gonna give a little bit of tension so that your TRX doesn't slide from side to side, because sometimes you might wanna work off to the side depending on what barriers or other people are exercising around you. And then you'll just go ahead and clip this into that next loop, and now you're ready to go with your TRX hung up on your anchor or bar. Another place that I've used the TRX, which is actually pretty awesome, is outdoors, hooking it around a tree. So obviously you want to find a tree with a branch that is super sturdy, no question that it's going to support you for the exercises, and high enough so that you're getting the proper length of the TRX. I've mentioned appropriate length, so let's go ahead and talk about that a little bit. When we talk about hanging up the TRX, usually we want to hang it about 8 feet off the floor. Now I know that might not always be an option, so when you do get your TRX set up, just make sure when it's fully lengthened that the bottom of the loops are hanging about 3 inches off the floor. The reason why that's important is because for different exercises, we want the suspension trainer to be different lengths so that we can create different angles with the body to appropriately use our body weight for resistance. I'm gonna go ahead and show that with a row as an example. So for rows, as I mentioned, we want the suspension trainer to be fully shortened. So we want really short straps for this exercise. Now, if I were to start standing up nice and tall with my elbows at my sides, this is gonna be pretty easy for me for a row. If I were wanting to make this more challenging, I'm gonna step my feet closer to the anchor point. And as you can tell, that is already more challenging. And then the opposite applies. If I need to make this easier, I'm gonna step a little bit further away, and now I have less resistance for the exercise. So for changing the length, it's a little bit different depending on your suspension trainer. Mine has these clips where I push the button and then I can either pull or use this tab to pull up. Yours might be a little bit different, but we can adjust the length as it's hanging to go to those appropriate lengths for different exercises. So I mentioned stepping closer to the anchor point is gonna make it more challenging. Stepping away is gonna make it a little bit easier. And that applies to most of our upper body exercises. Lower body exercises are gonna be a little bit different. But let's go ahead and apply that rule to push-ups. So I have my TRX fully lengthened. I have tension on the straps. So here's a push-up. If I step closer to the anchor point, You'll probably be able to tell that that's more challenging for me. If I step away, it's gonna be a little bit easier. So that rule applies to most of our upper body exercises. Let's talk about a couple of lower body exercises. So for a squat, I'm gonna take my straps up to mid-length, so about halfway up. If you do have a TRX brand suspension trainer, they usually have a little line to indicate exactly where that is. For me, I'm just gonna kind of guesstimate that that's about halfway. Now, I'm stepping back and bringing my elbows to the sides. I want to step back until I have dynamic tension. Dynamic tension is something that we want for all of our exercises, which means we don't want slack. So if I have slack, I don't have dynamic tension, probably not doing the exercise appropriately. So stepping back until I have that dynamic tension, elbows are by the sides, and now I'm ready for a squat. This is gonna be easier than doing a weighted squat or a body weight squat. So this is a great option for someone who, may have knee pain during a squat, or they're just getting started and squats are really challenging. That position, elbows by the sides, dynamic tension, is where we want to set up for most of our lower body exercises. So for example, I'm doing some lunges. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I can go into lunges. I can go into a hip hinge, kind of like a deadlift. That's a good starting place, a home base for where most of your lower body exercises are gonna happen. If you're not sure of the length that you should be putting the TRX or suspension trainer to for an exercise, I highly recommend going to the TRX website, searching for the exercise, and usually they'll let you know if it should be fully shortened, mid-length, or fully lengthened. As you can see with my TRX fully lengthened, this is where I'm at. Give or take 3 inches off the floor. Mine's sitting a little bit higher. But if I wanted to do a floor exercise, for most of those I want my TRX at mid-calf. So right in the middle of the gastrocnemius, that bulky calf muscle. So for me, this would be a little bit low. So I would bring my suspension trainer up to about there. So hitting right about mid-calf. Of course, this will be even more drastic if you're a taller person because your calf is gonna sit a little bit higher. So that's about where I would want my suspension trainer to hang for my floor exercises. So for someone who needs assistance to do a sit-up or a crunch, you're gonna take your hands to the handles. You're gonna bring your feet and your legs all the way together. From there, you can lower all the way down to your back, exhaling to sit up, and only using those arms, that upper body, to help you up as much as needed. So of course, we wanna put most of that work into the core. So now let's go ahead and talk about planks. So we can do a plank with our feet in the loops. That adds a little bit more of a challenge, having a little bit of movement with the feet. So I'm gonna show you a trick that I've learned for getting your feet into the loops in that plank position. We're gonna hold on to the bottoms of the loops. So right to the bottoms of those loops, we're gonna hold them up like stinky socks. So lift them up. I'm gonna lay back and put my toes into the backs of the loops. I keep my feet lifted so that my feet stay in the loops. I'm gonna cross one foot over the other. Again, I'm keeping my feet lifted so that my feet stay in the loops. I'm gonna continue to roll that way, all the way to the belly. So now I'm in this perfect position to press up to a TRX plank. From there, I can do some knee crunches. I can do some pikes. There's a lot of different exercises that we can do from this position. So I hope you found this video helpful in giving you some ideas for how to use your suspension trainer, how to set it up appropriately, and how to adjust your intensity for different exercises. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Again, I'm Chelsea. This is Zenith Fitness Co. And thanks for watching.